recite one Surah Al-Fatiha and 3 times Surah Al-Ikhlas for the well-being of Brother Wali and his family. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي ليس لأوليته ابتداء ولا لأزليته انقضاء وانحصرت الأوصاف عن كنه معرفته وردعت عظمته العقول والذي لا تواري عنه سماء سماء ولا أرض أرضا ثم الصلاة والسلام والتحية والإكرام على سيد الأضحى سيد المرسلين والأنبياء أبي القاسم محمد المصطفى
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم
وعلى الجوهرة القدسية البتول الحمراء سيدة النساء فاطمة الزهراء وعلى بعدها أمير المؤمنين وبنيها الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
لا سيما على بقية الله وحجته الكبرى الذي بيمنه رزق الورى وبوجوده ثبتت الأرض والسماء ولولاه لساقت الأرض بأهلها واللعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين من حين عداوتهم إلى قيام يوم الدين أما بعد فقد قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم علي بن أبي طالب أقدم أمتي سلما وأكثرهم علما وأصحهم دينا وأفضلهم يقينا وأكملهم حلما وأسمحهم كفا وأشجعهم قلبا وهو الإمام والخليفة من بعد صلوات
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم.
This hadith is narrated in Kitab al-Arba'in that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam says Ali ibn Abi Talib aqdamu ummati silman. He is the oldest in my nation in terms of Islam. And Imam Ali alayhi salam himself has said, Sabaqtu ila al-Islam wal-Hijrah. I have taken lead in Islam and in Hijrat and migration. Now, according to our belief system, Imam Ali alayhi salam did not become a Muslim because we believe a prophet and an imam are born as prophets and imams with the entire knowledge of the book and the ismat and infallibility from day one of their creation. So they don't become a Muslim, they were born with all the fada'il and manaqib and superior attributes. So, but in the Muslim Ummah, there are some sects of Islam who are having elaborate discussions on this subject. And they say that there is a controversy between the fact who was the first Muslim. Some people say it was Abu Bakr who was the first Muslim in the Muslim Ummah, whereas some scholars have said it's Khabbab ibn al-Arad who was the first Muslim, and there are some scholars who say that it was Bilal who was the first Muslim, and there are some scholars who say it was Zayd ibn al-Haritha who was the first Muslim. You can see the controversy that exists. And when it comes to Imam Ali alayhi salam, they say, well, yes, he was the first Muslim, but he was a child. We are talking about the adults. He was not even Baligh, so he's not even counted to be a Muslim, because he was just a child. Now there are some scholars in the Muslim Ummah who said Imam Ali was just 5 years old, a toddler. And some say he was 6. Some say he was 7, he converted to Islam. And some say he was 8. Some say he was 9. Some said he was 11. Some said he was 13. And some said he was 15. 15 is the last statement. Look at how many variations of different aqwal and statements exist among different scholars in the Muslim Ummah. And Imam Ali alayhi salam himself has said, Ana Siddiqul Akbar, I am the biggest Siddiq. Wa Anal Faruqul A'zam, I am the greatest Faruq. Siddiq is a person who is on the highest level of sidq and truthfulness in terms of everything that a person believes, everything that a person performs, everything that a person says, every policy that a person adopts in his life. From every aspect, the personality is all surrounded by sidq and truthfulness. That kind of person is called Siddiq. So Imam Ali alayhi salam is the biggest Siddiq, on a Siddiqul Akbar. That is one of the stolen titles. That is stolen from Imam Ali alayhi salam and attached with other people. Wa anal Faruqul A'zam, and I am the greatest Faruq. Faruq, likewise, the title of Imam Ali alayhi salam that was stolen. And Faruq means somebody who distinguishes between haqq and batil. So if you want to find out what is haqq and righteousness and what is batil and falsehood, look at what Imam Ali alayhi salam has said in any matter, look at what Imam Ali alayhi salam has done in any matter, and you will discover what is haqq. This is how the thing works. He is Faruq al-Faruqul A'zam, and Prophet has already said that Aliyun ma'al haqqi wal haqqu ma'a aliyin yaduru ma'ahu haythu dar. Ali is with haqq and haqq is with Ali, and haqq goes wherever Ali goes. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Another narration says, this is documented by Sunni and Shia, both sources. Another narration says the Prophet said that Aliyun ma'al haqqa wal haqqu ma'a aliyin Allahumma adr al-haqqa ma'ahu haythu dar. A Prophet is praying to Allah, oh my Lord, you rotate the haqq wherever Ali goes. And the Prophet is asking Allah, it's a dua which is done, it's already accepted by Allah. So wherever Imam Ali Islam will go, Prophet has already asked from Allah to take the haqq wherever Ali goes. Now it's very simple. Now it's extremely simple for any serious-minded person to just look at the policies. You can pick up Nahjul Balagha, you can pick up the policies of Imam Ali alayhi salam, pick up the statements And look what he has said in any matter. And Prophet has already prophesied in hadith, لَوْلَكَ لَمَا يُعْرَفُ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ حَقًّا. If you were not there, mu'min people will truthfully not recognize. Nobody would end up recognize who is the mu'min from a munafiq. So we learn the mu'min from the munafiq because of Imam Ali alayhi salam. So anyway, at the time Prophet was alive, it was not clear. The sides are not clear yet. Lots of people are claiming we believe in Haqq. We are supporters of Rasulullah. We believe in the Risalat. We believe in the Tawheed of Allah. Lots of people, everybody is claiming, right? But as soon as you find Prophet departs from this world, this is where the nifaq and hypocrisy of those people who were hiding the kufr from inside and expressing their iman from the outside, they came forward and they expressed their nifaq and hypocrisy against whom? Against the Khalifa of Allah and the Khalifa of the Holy Prophet, Amir al-Mu'mineen wa Imam al-Muttaqeen, Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
This is where we learn, whomsoever supports Imam Ali alayhi salam, whomsoever sticks on the walayat and khilafat of Imam Ali, is the only one who is mu'min. And whomsoever opposed Imam Ali alayhi salam from any which way has nothing to do with Rasulullah, not only Imam Ali, nothing to do with the Risalat of Rasulullah. This is what we discover. It's through Imam Ali alayhi salam's walayat and imamat and khilafat that we discover who was a believer in Rasulullah and who was faking around. So, Imam Ali alayhi salam is Al-Faruq Al-A'zam, the greatest Faruq. And likewise it applies on us, me and you as well, brothers and sisters. We who believe in the walayat of Imam Ali alayhi salam, the followers of Imam Ali alayhi salam, that we should be enabling ourselves to distinguish haqq from batil at every intersection of our life. Because we are the followers of Al-Faruq Al-A'zam. It doesn't add up if a Shia ends up saying, well, I don't know what is haqq. Why don't you know what is haqq? If you are a follower of Imam Ali alayhi salam, who is Al-Faruq Al-A'zam, does it add up? Does this statement add up that I don't know what is haqq? Because we need to recognize what is haqq in every matter of our lives so we can support the Ahlul Haqq, those who belong to haqq. And we recognize the batil, the falsehood, so we can distance ourselves from the Ahlul Batil. Right? I'rif al-haqq, like Imam Ali has said upon the occasion of Jamal, Battle of the Camel. I'rif al-haqq, recognize the haqq. Ta'arif ahlahu, you will end up recognizing who are those who belong to haqq. Wa'arif al-batil, recognize the batil. Ta'arif ahlahu, you will end up recognizing who belongs to batil. It is our job as a believer in Imam Ali alayhi salam not to be in the state of ambiguity and a gray area, staying in the darkness, unable to recognize in any place, any instance, any point of our life what is haqq and what is batil. The moment you find yourself distancing from haqq, the same moment you must understand you are distancing from Imam Ali alayhi salam. Because Prophet has already said, Aliyun ma'al haqq. وَالْحَقُّ مَعَ عَلِيٍّ. Ali is with haqq and haqq is with Ali. If I distance myself from haqq, I am distancing myself from Imam Ali alayhi salam. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Anas Siddiqul Akbar. These things have, it's not just we don't recite the fadail of Imam Ali alayhi salam for pleasing the public. It's not a public pleasing event. It's not an entertainment event going on. These are ma'arif, in-depth concepts of Islam which have practical applications and implications on our everyday life. It has everything to do with what we do and what we say in our lives. And that's how we adapt ourselves according to the ma'arif, in-depth concepts of the Islam and Quran and Ahlul Bayt, so we can make a change and join the team of Imam Sahib al-Zaman alayhi salam. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Imam Ali says, Ana Siddiq al-Akbar. I am the biggest Siddiq. Wa Ana al-Faruq al-A'zam. I am the biggest Faruq. I already explained the meanings of Siddiq and Faruq. Aslamtu qabla Islamin nas. I was a Muslim before the Islam of the rest of the people. And Sallaytu qabla salatihim. I prayed before their salat. Now if you go deep into this sentence of Imam alayhi salam, I prayed before their salat. When did the people start praying? Since the time when the ayat of salat revealed on the Holy Prophet, right? And Imam Ali has also said that I am musallil qiblatain. I am the only one who has prayed towards both of the qiblas. Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, what do you mean by that? All the ashab were praying earlier towards Baytul Muqaddas, city of Jerusalem, Al-Masjid al-Aqsa, for which Imam Khomeini announced the Yawm al-Quds, right? For the liberation of Al-Masjid al-Aqsa, located in the city of Jerusalem, which in Arabic we call the city as Al-Quds al-Sharif, or Baytul Maqdis. Baytul Muqaddas is a Ghalatul Aam, is a commonly made mistake. Lots of words in our everyday conversation, we are habituated of saying that, but from the grammatical perspective, it's not correct in Arabic. It's not Baytul Muqaddas, it's Baytul Maqdis. Or we usually say Baytul Muqaddas, or Al-Quds al-Sharif. That's the name of the city of Jerusalem, right? That's where Al-Masjid al-Aqsa is located. According to one call, one statement of our Mufassirin, Prophet was taken from the holy Makkah towards Al-Masjid al-Aqsa and the night of Mi'raj and Ascension. This is one call. Another statement of some of the Mufassirin of ours is that this is not the Masjid al-Aqsa where Prophet was taken on Mi'raj. Instead, he was taken on Mi'raj from the holy Kaaba towards Al-Masjid al-Aqsa, which is located on the fourth heaven, As-Sama' al-Rabi'ah. Asmane Chaharum. That is the farthest. Al-Aqsa in Arabic means the farthest. That is the farthest mosque. Prophet was taken there. This is where you find the time of Salat came and Jibreel grabs the hand. Hadith al-Miraj says, Jibreel grabbed the hand of the Holy Prophet and brought him forward, and all the arwah and souls of all the previous messengers were present in Al-Masjid al-Aqsa on the fourth heaven. And Prophet led the Salatul Jama'at for all the arwah of all the prophets of God in Al-Masjid al-Aqsa during his travel towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's taqarrub and proximity. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Hadith al-Miraj is not my subject to talk about, maybe some other time if Allah permits. But I was saying is that everyone used to pray towards Al-Masjid al-Aqsa. So why does Imam Ali say that I am Musallil Qiblatain? I am the one who prayed towards both of the Qiblas. What Imam Ali means by that hadith is that when the hukum of Taghyirul Qibla, hukum of changing of Qibla arrives, and that is the second Hijrah, second year of the migration of the Prophet, second year of the Hijrah, when Prophet was praying his Salat in Masjid al-Nabi in Medina. During the Salat, Jibreel brings the verse of Surah Al-Baqarah, قَدْ نَرَى تَقَلُّبَ وَجْهِكَ فِي السَّمَاءِ. We see turning of your face towards the heaven. فَلَنُوَلِّيَنَّكَ قِبْلَةً تَرْضَاهَا. We are definitely going to turn your face towards the Qibla that you like. And then Allah commanded the Holy Prophet, وَوَلِّ وَجْهَكَ شَطْرَ الْمَسْجِدِ الْحَرَامِ. During the Salat of the Holy Prophet. Now turn your face towards Al-Masjid al-Haram. That's the masjid where Holy Kaaba is located. It's called Al-Masjid al-Haram. Haram means the respectable. We say all these things are haram in Islam because the law of Allah has a respect. You cannot violate the red lines. There's a respect of the law. Al-Masjid al-Haram means the respectable mosque. So during the Salat,
as soon as the wahi came on the qalb, on the soul of the Holy Prophet, Prophet turns towards, from Al-Masjid al-Aqsa towards Al-Masjid al-Haram. Imam Ali alayhi salam was the only person praying behind the Holy Prophet who also turns towards Al-Masjid al-Haram after the Holy Prophet along with him. As soon as Prophet turned, he also turned. And rest of the ashab who were praying in that salat behind the Holy Prophet, none of them turned towards Al-Masjid al-Haram. And thus the salat of all the rest of the ashab became batil.
Their Jamaat became batil. This is what Imam Ali means. I am Musallil Qiblatain. I am the only one who prayed towards that one salat which he prayed turning towards both of the sides. Recite salawat, please.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
So, Sallaytu qabla salat to him. And besides, even in Makkah, when Prophet was not even commanded by Allah to start his propagation, you see, he used to pray. Prophet used to pray. All the Anbiya used to pray. Even before the hukam of Salat used to arrive, Rasulullah used to pray. Imam Ali and Hazrat Khadija alayhi salam were the only two individuals who used to stand in Jama'at. Imam Ali is standing behind the Holy, in Jama'at, and then Hazrat Khadija is standing, and they used to pray in Jama'at behind Rasulullah before the rest of the people even learned about the Salat. Recite Salawat, please.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
So, coming back to the point I was mentioning, that some of the scholars in the Islamic Ummah have said that Imam Ali was a kid when he accepted Islam. And thus it's not acceptable. Islam of a child, he's not even a baligh, so he's out of question, so he's not the first person who became a Muslim, and that's not acceptable. Now, Mas'udi is a very famous Sunni historian in his book, At-Tanbih wal-Ishraf. I would like to mention what Mas'udi has said to you, mention that to you, that he says that whosoever says that Imam Ali was a child, this is qawlu man qasada ila izalati fada'ilihi. That's a statement of somebody who actually wants to remove the fada'il and manaqib and superior attributes of Imam Ali alayhi salam. There are lots of people who have bughd and hatred of Imam Ali filled up in their hearts. And there are people who want to bring down the fada'il of Imam Ali alayhi salam. لِيَجْعَلَ إِسْلَامَهُ إِسْلَامَ طِفْلٍ صَغِيرٍ. So they make Islam of Imam Ali alayhi salam look like Islam of a baby, Islam of a child. لا يفرق بين الفضل والنقصان. He could not distinguish between what is, so a superior attribute, what is something, lowly and deficient. وَلَا يُمَيِّزُ بَيْنَ الشَّكِّ وَالْيَقِينِ. He could not distinguish between doubt and yaqeen, shak and yaqeen. لَا يَعْرِفُ حَقًّا فَيَطْلُبَهُ. He doesn't know what is haqq, so he could seek the haqq. وَلَا بَاطِلًا فَيَجْتَنِبَهُ. He doesn't know what is batil and falsehood, so he can abstain from that. This is how they were playing with the, with the history to bring down the fada'il of Imam Ali alayhi salam. So now the point to remember is that if Imam Ali alayhi salam was a child, was a baby at that time, did he accept Islam through the invitation of Rasulullah? Let's analyze the situation. Did Imam Ali alayhi salam accept Islam because Prophet invited him towards Islam? If Prophet invited him towards Islam, why did the Prophet invite if the Islam of a baby, Islam of a child is not acceptable? And if Prophet invited him and and he accepted Islam as a child, so that reveals that he was aqil, he had the intellect to accept it, right? Because Prophet did not invite him again. There is no evidence in any history Prophet invited the people 2 times, who invited Imam Ali alayhi salam. So this is how illogical the statements become. And then the Holy Prophet, please recite salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
The Prophet says, Asahhuhum deenan. Ali alayhi salam is the most correct in terms of the religion from the rest of the people, among the rest of the people. Look at the religion of Imam Ali alayhi salam. So when he comes to Basra after the end of the Battle of the Camel, and he sees all those gold coins piled up, huge pile of gold coins, he said, Ghurri Ghairi. That means deceive someone else. Imam Ali alayhi salam is the one who has no importance for this dunya. Imam Ali alayhi salam is the one when his real brother Aqil alayhi salam comes, and he was extremely hungry. He was going through extreme hunger. His children were with him. Muslim ibn Aqil, who was a young baby, was with him, with Aqil alayhi salam. And the children were hungry. He himself was hungry, didn't have any food to eat. But he's asking Imam alayhi salam an extra money, more than his share from the Bayt al-Mal, from the National Treasury. Even though he is hungry and the children are hungry, but asking an extra amount more than his share. Now what Imam Ali alayhi salam did, that's al-balagha. He boils up, he warms up a piece of steel in the fire next there, nearby, and then he brings it closer to the body of Aqil, and Aqil started to cry. And then Imam Ali alayhi salam said to him, Atta-innu min al-adha wala a'innu min dada. You cry from this, in other words, from this warmed up, hot steel iron piece, and shall I not cry from the hellfire? What you are asking me to do is going to land me in the hellfire. So you are crying from the hot steel that a human has, made it warm, and I shall not cry from the hellfire that Allah has lit. This is, you find the religion of Imam Ali alayhi salam. So much, this story was so famous in the entire Islamic Ummah when Aqil ibn Abi Talib went all the way from Kufa towards Damascus. Muawiyah asked him, tell me the story what your brother has done towards him. Because this story was like a fire in the woods, spread all over the Muslim Ummah, that Ali did not even provide a single penny to his real brother. This was the justice of Imam Ali. Recite salawat, please.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Inshallah, in one of my majalis, I will, if Allah allows, talk about the justice of Imam Ali alayhi salam and the instances in the history where Imam Ali has done justices, and it's documented. So, Imam Ali alayhi salam was constantly being opposed, objected by people, some of the time by his own people of his side, so-called followers. Not the real follower. Real follower will never object. Malik ibn al-Ashtar, rahmatullah alayhi, salamullah alayhi, he'll be resurrected to come back to support Imam Mahdi alayhi salam, commander-in-chief of Imam Ali. He's never used to object on Imam Ali alayhi salam. Never. Not a single narration talks about that. He cannot, because he belongs to such a high level of iman. But the regular awamun nas, jahil people who don't have the ma'rifat of the Masoom, kept on objecting even on Imam Ali alayhi salam. This is insaniyat, that's the situation of humanity. Prophet is saying, Ana Madinatul Ilm wa Aliyun Babuha. I am the city of knowledge and Ali its gateway. They keep on objecting on Imam Ali alayhi salam. How jahil the people are. They don't understand one hadith of Rasulullah in their entire life. Such jahil people. So Imam Ali salam was in the battle of Siffin. Muawiyah blocked the water, right? On the army of Imam Ali. After a short fight is continuing. After a short fight, Imam Ali's people grabbed the river. And now the people ask Imam Ali salam, we need to block Muawiyah from the water as well, just like they did against us. Why are you advising the Babu Madinatul Ilm, someone who is the door to the city of the knowledge of Rasulullah, which is the knowledge of Allah, and knowledge of Allah is limitless because it is Ayn Zat. Limitless knowledge of Allah is represented by Imam Ali alayhi salam, and you are objecting on him and you are advising him. Who are you to advise him? Does he stand in need of your advices? This is how Jahil people, typical sign of a Jahil person. Typical sign of a Jahil. Imam Ali alayhi salam, some people said Ali doesn't know politics. Some people said Ali ibn Abi Talib is a coward. Na'udhu billah min zalik. Ali जो है वो डरपोक हैं, इसलिए उनको इजाजत दे दी है पानी पीने की, क्योंकि डरपोक हैं। ये मौला के हुजूर में ये सारी बातें हो रही हैं। कैसे कैसे गुस्ताख पाए जाते थे मौला की साइड में, insulting people who are insulted. Imam Ali alayhi salam not only allowed Muawiyah to drink and his army to drink the water and did not block them reciprocally. Obviously in Islam you cannot block water on anyone, including the animals, including the kafir and harbi. It's not allowed in Islam to block them from the water, right? Not only Imam Ali did not block, but actually he stopped the battle for a while. And this is where people came and started to object over him. And Imam Ali, that's where Mawla narrated the hadith on the occasion of Khaybar, when Rasulullah gave the alam to me. Prophet said to me, "An yahdi Allahu bika rajulan wahidan." If Allah guides through you one man, that is better for you than this dunya and all which is in it. Recite salawat, please.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
So the purpose of war in Islam is not to shed the blood. We need to understand. We should never get driven away in emotions. We should never take our eyes off the real hadaf and goal. Why are we here? What are we up to? We are here to please Allah. So we cannot do anything which is haram to displease Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Goals don't justify the means in Islam. That was communism and capitalism. In Islam, goals never justify the means. Every step of the way has to be halal. I cannot keep on doing haram to acquire a halal goal and then justify, at the end of the day, I'm going to acquire a halal goal. So every step has to be halal as well. This is Islam of Ahlul Bayt. This is Islam of Ahlul Bayt. Imam Ali alayhi salam narrated what Prophet had said to him on the occasion of Khaybar, when he gave the alam on the 40th day to Imam Ali alayhi salam, that if Allah guides through you one man, that is better for you than this dunya. Prophet didn't say better than $1 million or $5 million or $10 million. Somebody could say, now I got more than $10 million, so I don't care. The Prophet said, this dunya and all what is in it. But people don't understand the ma'arif of Islam. Some people learn Islam from the surface, like icing of the cake. And then they sprinkle Islam on the top to think that we are Muslim, we are Mu'min too. These simple-minded people are the biggest problem Imam Ali faced in his life. Biggest problem, simple-mindedness of the people. So, Imam Ali stopped the battle. And the reason why my Mawla stopped the battle against Muawiyah, so that in the zulmat and darkness of Muawiyah and his people, maybe somebody can see the noor of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam and get the hidayat and guidance, because the whole hadaf and purpose of war in Islam is not to kill anybody, but to provide hidayat and guidance. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
How many people understand that? So, I remember in the Iran-Iraq war, there's so much pressure against Imam Khomeini. When Saddam was firing missiles in the civilian areas constantly, so much pressure from some people that Iran should also reciprocally fire missiles in the civilian areas in Iraq. Imam Khomeini never allowed that. There are people who are dying in Iran almost, every other day through the missile strikes, the Scud-B missiles provided by the USSR, right? But Imam Khomeini never allowed to fire a single missile on the civilian areas. This is the sunnah of Imam Ali alayhi salam. It's a very hard to digest because the whole purpose in Islam is to please Allah. Please recite salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Imam Ali has said, Wallahi ma Muawiyah bi adha minni. Some people end up saying that इनको तो सियासत आती नहीं है अली को सियासत तो आप जाएं तो मुआविया से सीखें. These kinds of statements even you can hear today. Lots of people are talking about the similar statements about our Maraje, about Rahbar. Same kind of statement, same mentality of the people. इनको तो सियासत आती है, सियासत आपको आती है. Siyasat we learn from the Holy Quran because our siyasat is siyasat-e-alawi. Our siyasat that we believe in is siyasat of Mawla Amir Mu'mineen Islam, which is the siyasat and the way of governing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not the siyasat of Makkari and deception of Muawiyah that some people call as siyasat. Imam Ali himself says, Wallahi ma Muawiyah bi adha minni. I swear to Allah, Muawiyah is not more cunning. Some people he's so smart. Ali doesn't know the politics. Na'udhu billah. He said, Wallahi ma Muawiyah bi adha minni, walakinnahu yafdir wa yafjur. But he deceives. He makes makr. He transgresses the limits of Allah. Fujur. Lawla karahiyatul ghadr. If deception was not hated by Allah, lakuntu min adhan nas. I would have been the most cunning of the people. And you cannot deceive in Islam. This is the difference between a person who is here to please Allah, not to please the people. Recite salawat, please.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Then the Prophet has said, wa afdaluhum yaqinan. We need to understand who Imam Ali alayhi salam was, acquire his marifat. Shaheed Mutahari rahmatullahi alayh has said rightfully, if Imam Ali alayhi salam comes as is, as he was, the way he was, in his real original, the way he was, lots of people who claim that we obey Imam Ali, we believe in Imam Ali will deny him. Because that's not the image they had in their minds. The image they have developed themselves in their minds about Imam Ali was different against the reality of Imam Ali alayhi salam, how much firm he was on justice. Sayyid Mutahari is right. Lots of people who claim we follow Imam Ali would deny him. This is not the Ali we follow. This is exactly why those people gave the hard time, who gave the hard time in front of Imam Ali, who were watching Imam Ali, but still they gave him hard time. Despite the fact they heard all these ahadith from Rasulullah, not from a student of knowledge like me, not from a talib ilm like me, but from Rasulullah directly. They heard the ahadith. But they still were opposing Imam Ali alayhi salam. Isn't that a reminder for the people to understand what is going wrong? So, Imam Prophet says, وَأَفْضَلُهُمْ يَقِينًا. Imam Ali alayhi salam is the most superior among the people in terms of yaqeen. Yaqeen is the least found ni'mat of Allah on the planet. The least distributed ni'mat and blessing is yaqeen. Somebody came to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
And said, Kana Isa alayhi salam yamshi alal ma. Prophet Isa alayhi salam used to walk over water. Rasulullah said, Law zada yaqinan masha al hawa. If he had more of yaqeen, if he was, in other words, if he was higher in terms of yaqeen, he would have been walking over the air. Prophet Isa cannot walk over the air. We learned from the hadith, he cannot walk over the air. Our Rasulullah and Ahlul Bayt can walk over the air as well. Prophet Isa can only walk over water. It's all about yaqeen. Which level of yaqeen do you belong? If he belonged to a higher level of the ni'mat of Allah called yaqeen,
he would have been walking over the air as well. But he cannot walk over the air. Imam Ali alayhi salam is whom? Prophet says, Afdaluhum yaqeenan. He is the most superior among the people in terms of yaqeen. My Mawla says, Law kushifal ghita mazdattu yaqeena. If the curtain is removed, we have 70 hijabat between us and Allah, right? If all the hijabat and curtains are removed, I am still not going to increase in term of yaqeen, because Mawla Amir Mu'mineen knows everything already which is behind the curtain is already known to him, and he watches everything 24/7, 365. Recite salawat, please.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
And then the Prophet says, wa akmaluhum hilman. Imam Ali alayhi salam is the most perfect in terms of hilm, burdbari, tolerance, forbearance. Imam Ali alayhi salam's bigger test was not against Marhab in Khaybar. For a person like Imam Ali, that was very easy for him to handle Marhab. Imam Ali's bigger test was not against Amr ibn Abd Wud in the battle of the trench, Khandaq. For a person like Imam Ali, that is so easy to handle. The bigger test of Imam Ali alayhi salam was when they put the rope in his neck and they burned the door, and Sayyidah Fatima alayhi salam had the miscarriage. And they put the rope in the neck of Imam Ali alayhi salam. We are talking about hilm, burdbari and tolerance, controlling of the anger. That was a bigger test of Imam Ali, bigger than what he did against Khaybar, against Marhab and Amr ibn Abd Wud. Controlling himself when they put the rope in the neck of Imam Ali alayhi salam. There was a Yehudi who was standing by and he was watching this whole event. And when they put the rope in the neck and they pulled Imam Ali alayhi salam, that Yehudi converted to Islam. He said, I saw this man on the occasion of Khaybar, how he took off the whole door, that even 40 men would find it difficult to move that door. Imam Ali alayhi salam lifted the door and threw it away so far away, and now he is doing the sabr for the sake of Allah. He converted to Islam, recite salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
That was a bigger test of Imam Ali alayhi salam. When the wife of the Holy Prophet was entering into Medina and she heard that people in the fourth place did the bay'at for Ali, she did not enter the city of Medina. She went back towards Makkah and later on conspired the conspiracy and the whole plan of the battle for the battle of the camel, Ma'arakatul Jamal against Imam Ali alayhi salam. And Imam Ali alayhi salam, some people were asking him that allow us we can loot the belongings and mal ghanimat, the war booty from these people. Imam Ali did not allow them. Instead, he sent the wife of the Holy Prophet respectively back to Medina along with 40 persons. And when the wife reaches Medina, we're talking about hilm of Imam Ali, burdbari, controlling the anger against your enemy and doing what is justice, even in your anger situation. Imam Ali Islam asked 40 persons to accompany the wife of the Holy Prophet all the way from the desert to the city of Medina. And when the wife reaches Medina, she opened up her mouth and said, Ali, didn't take care of me properly. See, he sent 40 non-mahram men along with me. And this is where those 40 persons removed the niqab from their face. All of them were the wives of the ashab of Imam Ali alayhi salam. Imam Ali sent 40 women with niqab with the wife of the Holy Prophet. This is the hilm of Imam Ali alayhi salam towards his enemies. How you behave towards your enemy is one of the best ways to find out the personality and ruhaniyat of the person. What Imam Prophet says, Akmaluhum hilman. Rasulullah is trying to make the people understand the highness of Imam Ali alayhi salam. وَأَكْمَلُهُمْ حِلْمًا. And then Prophet says, أَصْبَحُهُمْ كَفًّا. Imam Ali is the most giving person. The narration says, Imam Ali gave 1 dirham, 1 unit of the money in the daytime, 1 unit of the money in the night time, 1 unit of the money openly, alanan, alaniyatan, 1 unit of the money sirran, hiddenly. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reveals the verse of the Holy Quran, الَّذِينَ يُنْفِقُونَ أَمْوَالَهُمْ بِاللَّيْلِ وَالنَّهَارِ الذين ينفقون أموالهم بالليل والنهار سرا وعلانية صلوات.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
So this is how Imam Ali Islam's infaq was. And Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says, أعتق ألف مملوك من كد يده. Imam Ali alayhi salam set free 1,000 slaves from his earnings. Islam opposes slavery. With the wisdom, Islam eradicated it in a gradual pace. Imam Ali alone purchased 1,000 slaves from his own earning and set them free. And Prophet says, أَشْجَعُهُمْ قَلْبًا. Imam Ali Islam is the most shuja' and courageous in terms of the qalb. Shuja'at and courage is not about lifting a heavy weight and heavy stone or heavy steel or something. Shuja'at is about crushing our hawa nafs and desires and obeying Allah. Imam Ali Islam is the most shuja' person in terms of his qalb. So when Amr ibn Abd uses the abusive word against his mother on the occasion of Khandaq, Mawla Ali alayhi salam, instead of killing him, he leaves him. This is the shuja'at of Imam Ali salam. This is the bigger shuja'at of Imam Ali than killing Amr ibn Abd. Bigger than that is his hilm, that he leaves Amr ibn Abd when he uses the word of abusive word for his mother. That's bigger test of Imam Ali salam. How he maintains his ikhlas towards Allah. Ashja'uhum qalban. And this is where my Mawla alayhi salam, when the zarbat is hit over his head, he says, Fustu wa rabbil Kaaba. I succeeded, I swear by the Lord of Kaaba. The whole life of this greatest personality from the beginning till the end is spent in the love and ishq of Allah. This is called success. To acquire Allah's pleasure, regardless of what the people may say. Imam Ali alayhi salam acquired the pleasure of Allah, and this is how Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam is similarly, where my Mawla says, Taraktul khalqa turran fi hawaka. खुदाया मैंने सारी मखलूक़ात को छोड़ दिया तेरी मोहब्बत में. I left all the creatures in your love. وَأَيْتَمْتُ الْأَيَالَ لِكَيْ أَرَاكَ. And I made my family orphan so I can see you. I told you the statement of my teacher Ayatollah Hasan Zadeh Amuli, Hafizahullah, where he said, Agar behisht shirin ast, behisht afarin shirin tarast. If paradise is sweet, then the creator of paradise is even sweeter. Why don't we do things, instead of doing for the sake of paradise and its rewards, why don't we do the things for the sake of Allah, who is sweeter than the paradise? Makes sense what the teacher said. Imam Hussain is doing everything for the sake of Allah. Doesn't care about the paradise or the hell like his father. But I made my family orphans so I can see you. If you cut me into pieces in your love, my heart shall not be inclined towards anyone other than you. This is Imam al-Hussein.
And you don't find even a child in the camp of my Mawla, Imam al-Hussein, not even a child asking to the father, to Imam Hussein, Baba, Sakina never said, no child said, Baba, what's wrong if we accept Yazid for like an hour or 30 minutes or so? At least I'm going to get some water. What's wrong in accepting the tabut? Let's accept Yazid for 30 minutes, at least I'm going to get some water, I'm dying. Not even a baby. It's unthinkable for a baby in the camp of Imam al-Hussein to accept the tabut. Look at the highness of this family and how easy people compromise in front of the Zalimeen. Sakina alayhi salam is so azim in the eyes of Allah. So great. If you have any dua, ask Allah through the wasita of Hazrat Sakina. Inshallah it's going to be accepted. She's so azim, so great. Sakina was there when my Mawla used to love her so much, sleeping over the chest of Imam al-Hussein. You know, usually daughters are so much connected with the fathers. So much, affection with the father. They cannot sleep without Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. And Sakina came to my Mawla when my Mawla did the vida and farewell, and was departing. Sayyidah Zainab said, have you made up, prepared yourself for the death? Imam replied, why wouldn't the person prepare himself for death who has no Hami and Nasir, no supporter remaining for him? Imam Hussein is prepared for death, he's departing, and he says the farewell salam, the last salam to his family, and the people in the khayma. And Sakina is all watching all this situation. When my Mawla departs, this is where he hears a voice coming behind him. My Mawla sees, it's his daughter Sakina coming after him. And she said to Imam al-Hussein, Baba, she said, rub your hand over my head, the way you did over the orphan daughter of Hazrat Muslim. I know you're not going to return back. How much love Sakina had towards Imam al-Hussein. She's chasing her father towards the battlefield. And after the martyrdom of Imam al-Hussein, Shimmer is slapping on the face of Sakina, taking away her earrings. Sayyidah Zainab is connecting everyone. Sakina has been going through so much pain and suffering. And when the water arrives, and it was said, the one who is the youngest is going to get the water first. Sakina takes the water and goes towards the Maktal. When she was asked, where are you going? Says, you said the one who is the youngest is going to get the water first. My brother Ali Asghar is even younger than me. Sakina was taking the water for him. Remember when Imam al-Hussein was bringing the janazah of Ali Asghar, the 7 steps forward, 7 times moving back, and finally he put the daman of Abba, a part of the Abba over the janazah of Ali Asghar, and he's moving towards the khayma. When Rabab was standing there at the door of the khayma, and Sakina comes towards Imam al-Hussein. Baba, you provided water for Ali Asghar. Sakina is also your daughter. Imam al-Hussein removes the part of his Abba to show Ali Asghar had been killed by the enemies. And Sakina was not found after in the night of that day of Ashura. Zainab knows how much Imam Hussein loves her. How much Imam Hussein loves her. Imam Hussein loves Sakina so much. Sayyidah Zainab is going towards Maktal to find Sakina with Hussein. And she discovers Sakina is lying over the chest of the body without the head. Sayyidah Zainab goes forward and he takes Sakina into her lap. How did you find this is the body of your father? The body of Imam Hussein didn't have the head. Sakina replied, I was saying Baba. And this body replied back, Ayleya, come towards me, my dear daughter. And then that the Sakina was brought. And then Sakina, throughout the travel, look at the madhalim done towards Sakina. Look at the madhalim. Sakina was over a camel, over an animal, and she fell down. Caravan was moving forward, but the head of Imam Hussein stopped moving forward. This is where Shimr al-La'een, he comes with the slashes and he started to torture Imam al-Sajjad. I'm going to continue doing that until the head of your father moves forward. Imam al-Sajjad asks Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and the head of Imam al-Hussein speaks miraculously and says that Sakina has fallen down. And then who is asked to find Sakina? My lady Zainab is on. I don't know how my lady came down because she was riding an animal. Now how would a lady come down when the hands are already tied up? I don't know how Sayyidah Zainab came down. Now Sayyidah Zainab is going towards the desert to find Sakina, and she finds a lady with niqab is there in the desert, and she's holding Sakina in her lap and showing so much love and affection towards Sakina. Sayyidah Zainab never saw that sort of love from anyone. And then throughout the travel towards Kufa and Sham, she asked that lady, who are you? And this is where Sayyidah Fatima removes the niqab. Why wouldn't Fatima show the love towards the orphan of Hussein?
يعلم الذين ظلموا أيام منقلب منقلبون إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون إلهي بحق الزهراء وأبيها وبعلها وبنيها والسر المستودع فيها बारहा परचम इस्लाम को सर बुलंद फरमा, परचम कुफ्र शिर्क और निफाक को सर निगूं फरमा, इनकलाब इस्लामी की हिफाजत फरमा, तमाम उलमाए रब्बानीयीन, तमाम मराजे किराम बिलखुसूस रहबर इनकलाब का साया हमारे सरों पर बरकरार, तमाम मुजाहिदीन इस्लाम बिलखुसूस जो हरम हाय मुक़द्दसा का इराक़ में और शाम में जनाब ज़ैनब सल्लल्लाहु अलैहा के हरम को दिफा कर रहे हैं, उनकी नुसरत फरमा, तमाम उसराए इस्लाम बिलखुसूस शेख ज़की, उनकी ज़ौजा मुहतरमा, तमाम मोमिनीन जो नाइजीरिया के, बहरैन के, हिजाज़ के, पाकिस्तान के ज़िंदानों में जो मोमिनीन हैं और जहाँ कहीं ज़िंदान हाय जुल्म में उनको जल्द से जल्द रहा फरमा, तमाम मोमिनीन की जान और माल और आबरू की हिफाजत फरमा, तमाम मोमिनीन की मशरूआ हाजात को पूरा फरमा, तमाम मोमिनीन को वज़ाइफ़ शरइया पर अमल करने की तौफ़ीक़ फरमा, तमाम मोमिनीन की मशरूआ हाजात को पूरा फरमा, बाइलाहा बानिए मजलिस के मरहूमीन की मग़फ़िरत फरमा, बानिए मजलिस की मशरूआ हाजात को पूरा फरमा। खुदाया हमें उस वक्त तक इस दुनिया से ना उठा जब तक इमाम ज़माना हमसे राज़ी ना हो जाए, उनके ज़ुहूर में ताज़ील फरमा, हम सबको उनके अंसार व अशिया में करार दे। रब्बना तक़ब्बल मिन्ना इन्नका अंतस समीउल अलीम बिजाहि मुहम्मद व आलिहि ताहिरीन। Please recite one Surah Al-Fatiha and 3 times Surah Al-Ikhlas for the following marhumeen: Syed Baqir Mehdi, Sayyida Amir Bano, Syed Lal Hussain Shah, Marhuma Hamida Bibi, Sayyida Hakim Bibi, Syed Ghulam Hussain. Ya Hussein,
Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein,